السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. So, Alhamdulillah, we are back together, and this is really a great bounty for us. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blessing us, and for His blessings, we must always be grateful. And as Muslims, we should recognize that everything is a blessing from Allah. And even sometimes when we are being tried, or many times that we are being tried, is a blessing from Allah. So when we recognize this, then our entire life we should be in gratitude and thanking Allah and doing things that is going to be pleasing to Him, so that He is going to be pleased with us, because that is the aim. The aim is that we achieve a state in this world that Allah is pleased with us, so that on the day of judgment, Alhamdulillah, we will get to go to His Jannah, we will have earned His mercy, and this would be the greatest achievement, because there is nothing greater than Jannah. So Alhamdulillah, we have covered a lot of important work in these couple of weeks that we are together. It might look like a short time or a long time. In many of our minds, we might be thinking that we started like over a few months now, but really it's only a few weeks now. This is the third week, and this is the 12th lesson, which I think, or 13th lesson. I think it's the 12th, yeah, the 12th lesson. So it would be 4 lessons per week. This is the end of the third week. So Alhamdulillah. And if you reflect from where you started and you consider where you are, you will realize that, mashallah, in a short while of 12 hours, you have really made a lot of great achievements in your Arabic, or your quest to learn the Arabic language, especially in the area of the grammar, and especially in that aspect of the grammar that deal with the asma. As we said, the entire Arabic language is breakdown into 3 sections when it comes to the words in Arabic, the kalima. Because any language is made up of letters, then those letters come together to form words, then those words come together to form fragments or phrases, right? Where a word stands by itself, like Muhammad is a word, Muslim is a word, that's a kalima, okay? But sometimes we can put 2 words together and they don't have a structured meaning. Like I say, the tall boy, it's not a complete sentence. It needs something else to complete it. For example, I say the tall boy is in the room. So in the room, or is in the room, completes it. So we have a complete thought, and that's a complete sentence. And that is basically what we are interested in, to reach that state. So we want to understand the words, because Alhamdulillah, most of us know, or all of us know, to read the words, the letters. and we can read words. But what we can't recognize is the grammatical structure of the words, or maybe the vocabulary, the necessary meaning of the words that we are using, or we see in front of us. So we have to do that. But then after we do that, then sometimes we bring together words and phrases, right? And there are four types of phrases in the Arabic language that we are going to learn. Okay, we did some of it indirectly. Like for example, I just said a tall boy, right? That's um, an adjectival construction and an adjectival uh, phrase. Then there is the idafa, the mudaf, mudafun ilayh, which is the phrase that encompasses possession, like Muhammad's book, right? What about Muhammad's book, right? It's still Muhammad's book is an incomplete statement, or my house, that's an incomplete statement, right? Um, or my son, that's an incomplete statement. There needs something else to complete. My son, what about him? He is happy, or my son is in the house, or my son went to the masjid. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to get at is that's a second category of phrase, right? Um, that's the idafa. The third kind of phrase is when an harf al-jar come together with a majrur. We did a lot of this. Lillahi, for Allah. What is for Allah, right? Ma fi samawati wal ard. Whatever is in heavens and the earth is for Allah. All right. So that's another kind of phrase. That's a third category of phrase. And so we're going to deal with phrases, inshallah. Over the next week, we're going to cover that. We're going to complete that so that at least there's another category, but we are not going to really go into that right now because we still have to cover off the category of words that we're dealing with, which is called the asma al-ishara, demonstrative pronouns like hada, hadi, haulai, because the fourth category of phrases is connected to that. Okay. Um, there are some other things that we have to complete with the asma, like for example, in the morab and the mabni, right? We did that. Morab is those words that have structure. They have, you can recognize the tanween dammar, tanween fath, or the tanween kasra, right? So that is one. That is the morab, the word that is morab, like Muslim, Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, waladun, waladan, waladin, awladun, awladun, awladin, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatan, muslimatun, muslimatin. All of those are words that are called words that are morab. You can see the change in the vowel sign at the end based on what is affecting it, what comes before it that is affecting it. Like for example, if inna comes before a noun, it affects it in a way that it makes the noun that comes after it mansub, right? So we say inna musliman, or inna muslimatan, or inna muslimina, okay? Because it affects it. So you see the change in the vowel sign. That is called i'rab. The i'rab is what describes the grammatical structure of the words. And then for the ism, there are only three categories. There is rafa, and nasb, and jar. The dhamma represents, or the tanween dhamma, or the dhamma by itself represents rafa. The nasb is represented by tanween fatha or fatha, and the jar is represented by tanween kasra or kasra. Okay. Now there are some words that we saw last week that are called mabni. We are going to deal with that, inshallah. Um, we're going to deal with that just now, inshallah. But the point is that the words that are mabni, they don't change. The vowel signs at the end don't change, right? Like hada, it remains. No matter. Inna hadha al-Qur'an yahdi lillati hiya aqwam. Hada remains hada, although inna comes before it. If we say hadha al-Qur'an yahdi lillati hiya aqwam, okay, that is correct, right? But the hada there is marfu', okay? But you don't see the alamatul rafa. Same thing if we say inna hada, it is mansub. Hada is mansub, okay? And we say ila hada, it is majrur. It is in a state of jar, but we don't see the sign. It doesn't change, so it is mabni. So all morab and mabni is about is whether or not a word, the end letters change. Now, sometimes these changes occur fully. like we have Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. Okay, sometimes it doesn't occur fully, and that's another category of word that we're going to be dealing with, and we're going to be introducing, not in this class, but another class is called Mamnu' min as-sarf. Okay, so those things we have to finish off the ism, and then there's some things with the feminine that we have to do also. We already had an introduction to feminine where we found that there are some words are feminine by nature, like bintun, right? You know that that's ukhtun. Ukhtun means sister. That's a word that is feminine by nature. It is naturally feminine. By just the meaning of the word, you know it is feminine. A lot of words that ends with the majority of words, the majority of words that ends with ta marbuta, the majority of words that end with ta marbuta are feminine, right? They are feminine, as we said before, right? And there are some exceptions that are not feminine, but most times you see a word that is with ta al-marabuta, it is feminine. There are some additional words that are also feminine that we are going to describe, right? You know, like body parts that appear in pairs, right? Like the ain, the yad, the rijl, right? All of these parts, they are feminine, okay? You say, هذه يد, this is a hand, okay? And this is why you have to know it's feminine or masculine, because anything that connects to it, right? Anything that connects to it, it also becomes feminine. Like we don't say هذا يد, we don't say هذا بنت. You know, in English it doesn't matter. This is a boy, this is a girl. In Arabic it is هذا ولد, this is a boy. هذه بنت. Now, in order to describe the sun, for example, which is feminine by convention, by use, you say هذه شمس. This is a sun because it is feminine. Now, if you want to describe that sun, you want to say the sun is beautiful. You don't say jamilun because it is feminine. So you say هذه شمس or هذه الشمس جميلة. This sun is beautiful. Okay, جميلة. So it is important to know the masculinity or the femininity of a word, inshallah. So we have to complete that aspect, and that's not a lot. There are a few issues that we're going to complete in the next 4 classes before Ramadan, inshallah, or 3 classes before Ramadan. We're going to complete all of them so that inshallah at least we would have generally completed the general area of the ism that we want to cover in this time that we have spent, which is going to be about 15 classes, inshallah. We will still discuss whether or not Ramadan is going to have any class, because the more I think about it, the more I don't want to do it. Inshallah, it is really a lot of on me. I'm not complaining. It's just that I don't want to be distracted, inshallah, with other things. So I hope you can see with me on that level. Everybody's hearing them? Am I being heard?
Now we're hearing.
Okay, fine. All right. So let us get back to this revision quickly, because it is essential that we constantly revise so that the concepts keep with us, right? I want to do back this because this is important. This here is a summary of the entire Arabic language from the ism perspective that we have learned, and we would learn, inshallah, up to the end of this month, inshallah. So if we get this sorted out, inshallah, for the Arabic ism, for the asma, the ism or the asma, which is the plural, there are 4 categories that we discussed and we studied. The first is number, right? And that is the Arabic ism is either mufrad, muthanna, or jama'. Everybody understand that? Those 3 terms?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have mufrad, muthanna, or jama'. So you listen to those words, we don't have to say singular, dual, or plural anymore, right? So we are starting to use Arabic terminologies very quickly. So that covers numbers. There is no additional number, yani, في اللغة العربية. There are only 3 categories when it comes to numbers. In English, it is different. There are only 2 categories when it comes to number. There is only single and plural. In Arabic, there's an additional category, which is the muthanna. So we have mufrad, muthanna, and jama. Then we have the jins, which is the gender. Okay, the jins is two parts, only two. In English, it is different. English might now end up to 5 or 6 parts. Allah knows best where they're going, because even everything has a different kind of a thing right now. So we don't know. Anyways, we have mudhakkar and muannas. This is all there is for the mufrad, for the muannas, the muthanna and the jam. Right? There's mudhakkar or muannas, and we must focus in on that. Right? We have the case. We have 3 cases for the ism. We're not talking about the af'al. The ism, because the kalima is 3. It's 3 categories, right? The ism, the fi'l, and the harf. Now the ism, we are dealing with ism. We want you to focus on that. When we come to deal with fi'l, we will deal with fi'l exclusively. Inshallah. We are going to the second part of this foundation. This is going to be foundation A. This foundation 1, part A. The second part of this foundation is going to be dealing with af'al, or the fi'l. Right, which we want to keep as describing as a fi'l, because it is the fi'l is more than a fi'l. Like for example, if I say daraba in Arabic language, right? In English, the fi'l is hit. You agree with that? The fi'l is hit. I hit Tariq. I am the object. Tariq is the subject of the action. Hit is the action that I did. That's the action word. In Arabic, it is a little different. Every single Arabic fi'l contains something else with it. So if I say darabtu tariqan, right? Or duriba tariq, it would mean that Tariq was hit. You don't see, or I hit, if I say I hit Tariq, I say darabtu tariqan, right? There's only one word here for darabtu. Darabtu means I hit. So there's something included along with the fi'l. So we don't want to say that the fi'l is just the verb, right? It's something a little bit more than that, right? It always have a pronoun attached to it, and some, like daraba al-walada. It means he hit the boy. Okay, so there is something in the fi'l there that is included. The pronoun is included. You don't have to, as long as you know the formation of the verb. Like in English, it is I hit, you hit, he hit, she hit, they hit. You understand? And there's only one word that's used. In Arabic, if I say darabtu, it has one meaning. If I say darabta, it has another meaning. If I say daraba, it has another meaning. If I say darabat, has another meaning. If I say darabna, it has another meaning. All right. So that is, we don't want to say the fi'l, is verb. We don't want to translate it as verb, because that is how it is loosely translated, and that gives an incorrect impression of the actual kalima. You understand? So we have 3 cases in the Arabic language, which are the rafa or the marfu condition, the nasb or the mansub condition, or the jar or the majrur condition. Okay, we all know that, right? These 3 cases. The raf is represented by the regular, like in this chart that we did here, is regular nouns, right, which have dhamma, fatha, and kasra on them as the basic signs of i'rab, the basic signs of grammatical position there is, right? So this is the majority of nouns. This is the majority of asma. The majority of asma are like this. There are some exceptions, right? Like, for example, hada, hadihi. They are not regular. They are irregular. You can't see the vowel sign on them. They don't change their state. Ha'ulai, ulaika. They don't change their state. Muslim changes state to muslimun, musliman, muslimin. Okay, so that is the thing that we have to pay attention to. So that's one area. Then there are some words in Arabic language, some asma, like Musa and Isa. No matter what you do, they are like that. So we say Musa fil bayt. We say inna Musa fil bayt. There's nothing, it doesn't change. You don't see any dhamma or fatha or kasra change there, right? We're going to discuss that category of words next week, inshallah, the next class. But because we want to complete this category of i'rab, okay? And then we're going to complete the category of gender and things like that. So that at least we would have covered everything in relation to what we want for this section, this foundation section. You understand? So that is the issue there. So you say inna Musa, ila Musa, Musa, Isa, inna Isa, inna ila Isa, Same thing, right? You see the same construction. Now, the i'rab is not, these words are not mabni. These words are different. These words are not mabni. They are a category of words that are different. We'll discuss those words, inshallah. We'll discuss the way the i'rab is done for them. Okay, because the words that are mabni, we say these words are mabni. But these other words are not mabni, inshallah, right? So then we have nakira and ma'rifa. Every ism in the Arabic language is nakira or ma'rifa. Now, the nice thing about the demonstrative pronouns, the ism ishara, right, is that they are all ma'rifa. You understand? Like the pronouns, they are all ma'rifa. Right. So we don't have to discuss nakira and ma'rifa with them. So if you say nahnu, that is not ma'rifa already. You understand? Ana, it's ma'rifa already. Hum, it's ma'rifa already. Huma, it's ma'rifa already. All right? But there are some signs other than that to show ma'rifa. Right? We're going to complete that also. Because we would have covered the alif and lam on the word. When you put alif and lam to the nakira word, for example, there is muslimun. I put alif and lam onto it, it becomes al-muslimu. Right? Because alif and lam is the al of ta'rif. Right? So the word becomes ma'rifa bi al because of the al is added to it, right? All pronouns are ma'rifa, so that's another category. There are 7 categories of ma'arif, right? 7 categories of words that fall into the category of ma'rifa. Okay, so we did al, we did ism al-ishar, we did dhamir. That's 3 categories already. Today we are going to do another category. It's called asma al-mawsula, which we're going to deal with inshallah in a short while. Okay, anyhow. So we have nakira and ma'rifa for all of them, for the nasb, the jar, and the rafa. So we know this table, right? So, I mean, out of our heads, we are not going to use muslimun. We're going to use another word. We're going to use mu'minun, right? So for the mufrad nakira, mufrad mudhakkar, nakira rafa, it's going to be mu'minun, okay? For the ma'rifa, mu'minun, I want to make it ma'rifa. What do? We add alif and lam. So it becomes al-mu'minu, right? Al-mu'minu. I want to make it nasb nakira. What do? Ani. I add ani. I want to, yeah, okay, I add inna to it. I want to make it nas. But I'm talking with the word itself. Forget the inna and forget the ila. Just the word. I have Muslim mu'minun, mu'minan, mu'minun, al-mu'minu. I want to make it nasb. I change it to, I make it mansub. What do? Because the nasb is tanween dhamma or tanween or the dhamma by itself. The nasb mu'minan. So it will be mu'minan, and the ma'rifa will be al-mu'minu. Right. For the majrur, it would be, for the nakira, no, it's not al, it would be in. So it would be mu'min. Mu'min, how's the word going to sound? Mu'minin. Right. And then I add alif and lam to make it ma'arifa, it becomes al-mu'mini. Yeah, we say al-mu'min is fine. Okay. But I want to have the interaction, the vowel sign on it, so you know what is going on, right? Mm-hmm. So for the mu'minun, to make it mu'annas, for the raf, it becomes, I add mu'minatun. I add ta'al marbuta to it, right? Now to make it ma'rifa, what do I add? Alif lam, so it becomes al-mu'minatu. Then I have the state nas for mansub. I want to make it mansub. What do I add? What do I do? I change it to the end letter carries a mu'minatan, takes the tanween fatha, right? I want to make it ma'rifa, it becomes al-mu'minata. I want to make it nakira, it becomes mu'mina, mu'mina.
For what? Jar or
jar? For the mu'mina tin. Mu'mina tin. I want to make it ma'rifa, it becomes al-mu'minati. Correct. Okay. So I want to go to the musanna.
For
the rafa, right? We are doing the word mu'min. I want to do musanna. Okay, musanna is 2. What do we do to the end of the word when we want to change it? we add what? To make it dual, to make it two. No, mu'minani. First is, yeah, it's muzakkar. So it's mu'minani, right? It's mu'minani is for the, I think what we'll do, inshallah, I'll complete this table because we know these. And as we go along, we will show how they come in, right? Muslimun, al-muslimu, inna musliman, inna al-muslima, ila muslimin, ila al-muslimi, right? So we have muslimatan, muslimatun, al-muslimatu, inna muslimatan, inna al-muslimata, ila muslimatin, ila al-muslimati, right? Okay, so we are using the word mu'min. Okay, we are using the word mu'min. We want to make it musanna, we add alif and noon at the end, right? So we have the word mu'min, we have the word muslim, we add alif and noon, it becomes muslimani. We want to change the word to mu'min. What does it become? Mu'minani, correct, right? So we have muslimani, we are using muslimani, we change it to mu'minani, right? We want to make it ma'rifah, it becomes al-mu'minani, correct. Al-mu'minani. We want to make it nasb. Inna, we want to make it nasb and it's nakira. We are doing dual. Musanna, muzakkar. Mu'minaini. Inna mu'minaini. Inna mu'minaini fil bayt. Okay, we want to make it ma'rifah. We add alif and lam to it, so it becomes innal mu'minaini. The nice thing about this is that nothing changes, so it makes it easier, right? So for the next four formations, only one formation you're going to have. Mu'minaini, 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 right? So that makes it easier, right? Inna mu'minaini, and then we have innal mu'minaini for the nasb. Okay, and for the jar, it becomes ila mu'minaini, correct. Ila mu'minaini and ilal mu'minaini, same thing, right? Okay, so for the nasb and the jar, it is the same formation, so that makes it easy, right? So the same thing for the muannas. The muannas, the only technicality is the marfu state, right? So we have we did with Muslim, so we had Muslimun, Muslimani, right? Now we want to make it muannas. What does it become? Muslimatun becomes Muslimatan. Tayyib. Muslimatani, that's for the nakira. And for the ma'rifah, we add alif and lam to it, it becomes al-mu'mina, al-mu'minatani, correct. Al-mu'minatani. So it's mu'minatani, al-mu'minatani, right? Right. Then we go over to the other category, to nasb. So it becomes inna mu'minataini, correct. Right? When I want to make it ma'rifah, it becomes innal mu'minataini. Okay? And then I want to make it jar, it becomes ila mu'minataini. Right. Same thing like the nasb. Right? And then I wanted to make so we have ila muslimataini, ila mu'minataini. Then I want to make it ma'rifah, it becomes innal mu'minataini. Right? So then we have for the jama' muzakkar, we have muslimun. We had, what do we add at the end to make it jama'? Marfu. Nah, but this is mu'min we are dealing with. Mu'minuna. And if we have khalidun, what does it become? If I want to make it jama'? Khaliduna. If I had muttaqin, muttaqi, it becomes muttaquna. If I have mujahid, mujahiduna. If I have sabir, sabiruna. Khashi', khashi'una, right? So we just add the waw and noon to it. Now that makes it, that is nakira, right? Now I want to make it ma'rifah. We are using the word mu'min, so it becomes al-mu'minuna, correct? Al-mu'minuna, right? I want to make it muthanna, nasb, not muthanna. This is jam. I want to make it nasb, so it becomes innal mu'minain. Inna mu'minaini. It's mu'minain is dual, right? No. This is jam, right? This is jam, and it is nas. So it's inna mu'minina. Mu'minina for nakira. Mu'minina, correct. And for the ma'rifah it becomes innal mu'minina, correct. Innal mu'minina. Okay, then we have for the majrur state it becomes ila mu'minina. Right, and then I add alif and lam to it to make it ma'rifah. What does it become? Ila mu'minina. Okay, right. And then we have for the mu'annas, the jama' mu'annas, we have what do we add to the word? We have muslimun, mu'minatun, correct? So we have mu'minatun, correct? Then we add to make it ma'rifah. What do we do? Al-mu'minatu. We drop the tanween and we add alif and lam to it, right? Al-mu'minatu. Then we have inna. No. Mu'mina. Mu'minatin. Inna mu'minatin. Right. I want to make it ma'rifah. Ila innal mu'minati, correct. Innal mu'minati. طيب. Then I want to make it majrur. Ila mu'minatin, correct. And then I want to make it ma'rifah, becomes ila al-mu'minati, right? Now you have to basically this table, you have to be able to say it like very quickly. You understand? This table needs you to memorize it. It needs you to memorize it. Why does it need you to memorize it? So that inshallah, when you hear any word, if you hear mu'minina, if you hear khashi'ina, if you hear khashi'ati, if you hear muslimin, if khashi'in, if you hear muttaqin, if you hear muttaquna, you know, Allah yuhibbu sabirin, you immediately are able to place it where it deserves to be placed. You already know the number on it. You know it's jam, because sabirin is jam. You know it is it's either mansub or majrur, right? Because it is sabirina. You know Allah yuhibbu sabirin. There's alif and lam on it, so it's ma'rifah. You know the gender, it is mudhakkar. You know, so you need to know this table well. You need to. This table is there to guide you through. So what you should do is practice to recite it first. Learn the table well, and then you can start putting in different words inside to make it more understandable. Okay. The sum plural. I don't know why I did this. Anyhow, it's here. Qanitun, qanitani, qanitaini. I hope I didn't bring up the wrong slide here. Let me just check. Right. So we are going to do the indeclinable and the declinable words. Okay. We're going to do al-kalimatul mabniya wal mu'arabah. Mabni means the kalima is built like that. Right? The word is built like that. Okay. And mu'arabah means it can change. So it's declinable and indeclinable. Right? The indeclinable word is the word that is mabni, and the declinable one is the one that is mu'arab. Okay. Now this is a general word like mu'min, Muslim, Khalid, Sabir, Khashir. All of these words are declinable. Okay. Like talibatun, you know, qalamun, jidarun, aqlamun, awladun. All of these words are declinable. Right? They are mu'arab. No, they are mu'arab. Okay. The declinable words have the vowel at the end of the word change. So the vowel change at the end of the word because of how they are affected by what comes before them. Okay. So if a word that changes the ism into a fatha comes before it, like when inna comes in front of it, right? Inna has some aqawat, like lakinna. For example, you see, walakinna Allah. It does the same action like inna. Inna Allah. ولكن الله. All right. كأن محمدا. Okay, so it changes it. Same thing with the if we have the regular word and ila comes in front of it, or min comes in front of it, or for example, there is the waw al-qasam. We see this a lot in the Quran. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ. Every time a noun, an ism comes after the waw al-qasam, where Allah swears, Allah is swearing by the sun, it takes a kasra, right? So وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا وَاللَّيْلِ, right? إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا. So you see,
which one is the Mu'araba and Mabni? Which one?
all of those are mabni, are morab. All of those words, because the end word change on them. The end letter, the haraka change on them, right? For on the end letter, the haraka changes. So as long as the haraka changes, then the word is a morab word, right? If it doesn't change, then it is mabni. So all the nouns that we did already, a lot of them, right? They change at the end, right? All the jamu taksir, aqlamun, awladun, yani shuyukhun, all of them are morab. Kalimat moraba, right? Inshallah. All right. So we have the indeclinable words, those words that are mabniya. Okay, the words that are mabniya. Okay. Now these falls into different categories. There's a few categories of words that are mabni. They are not a lot, but they are specific words or specific categories of words, right? The indeclinable word do not change their vowel at the end of the word because of different causes. So they maintain the vowel at the end of the word. That's the basic understanding. They maintain the vowel at the end of the word. So we have demonstrative pronouns generally. Most of the demonstrative pronouns, there are only so much demonstrative pronouns. There is demonstrative pronouns to the mudhakkar and the muannas, and then each one of these has muthanna or jam. So there are 5 formations. But for the muthanna, there are 2 formations because they are more up, right? So there's like 7 formations. But as I said, the muthanna is not something that you have to really pay a lot of attention to.
Does Zalika come in?
Yeah, Zalika is, there are 2 categories for Ism al-Ishara. There's one for Ba'id and one for Qarib. So the Ba'id is Zalika, and the Qarib is Hada. The feminine is Hada, Hadihi. Zalika, Tilka. All right, so we're going to deal with that in a short while. We're going to go over back that table in a short while, inshallah, right? So pronouns generally, because the majority of pronouns are mabni. They don't change at the end. So we say inna hadha, inna haulai, inna hadihi, ila hadha. They don't change. Hadha by itself is marfu, is in a state of rafa, but we don't see any dam on it. Okay, because it is built like that. Okay, we get it. I mean, I don't know if I'm confused. Okay, then preposition and other particles like ala. All the prepositions that we did, they are mabni, right? They are mabni. All pronouns are mabni. Huwa, hiya, anta, antum, antuma. All are mabni, inshallah. All right. All interrogative particles, man, hal, whatever. Okay, all are mabni. Relative pronouns generally, and we're going to do relative pronouns today, inshallah. We're going to do the table for relative pronouns, most of the general pronouns and the relative pronouns, inshallah. So this is the same thing like the ism al-ishara. Okay, because the dual for them, is mabni, is morab, right? So the demonstrative pronoun hada, hadihi, right? They are mabni. But when you come to hadani and hatani, hadani and hatani, they have different i'rab, inshallah. So we're gonna see, huh? The dual for all of these, for the demonstrative pronoun and for the relative pronoun, are morab. Okay, we're going to be doing the relative pronoun today, inshallah. Okay. So what is the demonstrative pronoun? We did this last time, inshallah. We're just going to go over it quickly. In English grammar, the word demonstrative means showing who or what is being referred to. Okay, so you want to refer to something, you can say hada without doing anything, right? Hada. And you know what it is. Okay? You say hada and you know what it is. right? You don't have to call it by name. Okay. So hada stand in front in the place of an ism. So I say hadihi. You know this is milakha because milakha is feminine, right? Milakhatun. Right. So I say hadihi because it's milakha, right? But I say hada because it's tamar, right? Because the tamar is masculine, right? But by holding it or by pointing to it, right? If I say hada, you know what it is by pointing at it. I pointed at, you know hada, this is arika or that's nafida, hadihi, you know, you know what it is because you're pointing to it. So you can say hada, and hada generally refers to something that is close, like hada biyadi, this is in my hand. ولكن تلك هناك is بعيد, right? So that's why they use it like that. اسم الإشارة البعيد and القريب. Okay.
Hada is for masculine.
هذا is for masculine.
And tilka?
ذلك is for masculine for بعيد and tilka is for feminine.
Tilka is for feminine.
Yeah.
Zalika for
Masculine.
For بعيد.
Yeah.
Over there.
And هذا and هذه is for masculine and feminine, right? Inshallah. So a demonstrative pronoun is a single demonstrative word that takes the place of a noun phrase, a string of noun phrases, an activity or a situation. Let me understand all of that, right? Because it can stand for a noun phrase. A noun phrase is like ar-rajulu kabiru, the big man, right? You can say hada, okay, instead of ar-rajulu kabiru, okay? So in the Arabic language, a masculine singular demonstrative pronouns are هذا okay. Just give me a second. So we have the demonstrative pronoun asma al-isharati lil qarib, for that something that is close. Demonstrative pronoun ism al-ishara is used to point out something. Ism al-ishara is used to point something. There are two cases. There are two types, right? For pointing out that which is close, which is called qarib, and for pointing out that which is far, it's called ba'id, right? Now, you don't necessarily have to know these words, ism al-ishara al-qarib and ism al-ishara al-ba'id. These are not necessary. But if you know it, is better. So that if your teacher talks about it or anybody mentions it or anybody's teaching you grammar, they might use the terminology and it'll become familiar to you. Inshallah, you should want to know it. So we are dealing with asma al-ishara al-qarib, right? Demonstrative pronouns for something that is close. So we have mufrad, muthanna, and we have two cases for muthanna, and we have the jama. Okay, the mudhakkar and muannath. So we have hada for the mufrad mudhakkar. Okay, and the i'rab for that is mabni. You say that it is mabni. If somebody asks you for the i'rab of hada, you say mabni, right? It is mabni. Okay. The meaning of hada means this is, which is the pointing for something that is close. But the issue here is what I want to point out is that this word this is, right? You don't see the is in the Arabic language, because in Arabic language, just like how we have phrases that is made up of two words. Like I say the tall boy, al-walad tawil. Okay, that is a phrase. That's not a complete sentence. Same thing in English.
Right.
It's not a complete sentence, right? Now in Arabic, sometimes there are two words that make up a sentence, right? Like al-waladu kabirun is different from al-waladul kabir. Al-waladul kabir means a tall boy, but al-waladu kabirun means the boy is tall. That's a complete statement. You understand? Sound a difference?
Yeah.
Al waladu kabir means the tall boy.
Oh, right,
But when I say al waladu kabirun,
right,
that makes it a complete statement. The boy is tall.
right.
Okay. So al waladu tawil would mean um, we will discuss that next week inshallah or the next class because it is one of the four categories of phrases in the Arabic language, right? Now the difference between al waladu tawilu and al waladu tawilun is that the this in the al waladu no, I'm using the wrong example. Hada, if I say hada al waladu, it means this boy. If I say hada waladun, it means this is a boy, right? So when I say hada waladun, that's a complete statement, and the is understood in it, right? This is a hidden is, okay? Like if, for example, I say haulai auladun, these are boys, okay? The are there is understood. Is something that is there in the Arabic sentence for the Jumlatul Ismiya, because Arabic has two types of sentence. In English, there's only one type of sentence. You can only start with the verb. I am going, or I hit the boy, or I ran, or I beat, or I slept, or I ate, or whatever the case may be. In Arabic, sentences, there are two types of sentences. Sentences that start with the ism, which is called a Jumlatul Ismiya, like the case with Hada Waladun. And then there's the Jumlatul Fi'aliyya, okay? So this is the difference between the two. But inshallah, we're going to deal with it as we go along. Okay, Hada waladun means this is a boy. Okay, then we have Hadihi, and this is the feminine aspect. Hadihi, Hadihi bintun. Okay, this is a girl. Okay, so we go to the Muthanna. The Muthanna for the Hada, we just have to add a noon here. Right, so it becomes hadani, hadani. My computer is very sensitive today. I don't know why. Hadani, and for the feminines, hatani, hatani. Notice they don't use that here, right? They use ta instead of the zal. So it's hatani, and these are morab. These are morabani, right? Hadani, hatani, and it also have these two are, right? Hadani waladani. Okay, these two boys, and we have hatani bintani. These two are girls. These two are boys for hadani waladani. These two are boys, and hatani bintani. These two are girls. Okay. Now, for the musanna, for the nasb, we add the ya and the noon at the end. Hadaini. Okay, and hataini, and these are morab also. These are morab. Means these two are. So we have inna hadaini waladani. Indeed, these two are boys. Inna hataini bintani. These two are girls. If you notice, we don't say inna hadaini waladaini or inna hataini bintani, because if we had it like this, inna hadaini waladaini, what's the difference between inna hadaini waladaini wa inna hadaini waladani? Anybody can tell me the difference? The difference here. Inna hadaini waladaini and inna hadaini. Inna hadaini waladaini and inna hadaini waladani. What's the difference between the two?
Waladayni is more than two.
No, waladaini is two.
It's nasb.
Both are nasb. Hadaini is nasb and waladaini is nasb. This one here, indeed, these two are boys. This is a complete statement. Inna hadaini waladani is a complete statement. I mean, you would know this up to now because we didn't discuss this in much detail. So you might still be a little confused, right? But inshallah, we're going to get there. When you say inna hadaini waladaini, you're saying these two boys, these two boys. You're not saying these two are boys. You understand? That's the difference between these two boys. Is one statement without any. It's not a complete sentence. But when you say inna hadaini waladani, these two are boys. You understand? because in Arabic there are two aspects to the jumla. It's called a mubtada and a khabar. So inna hadaini, the hadaini there is the mubtada, and the khabar is waladani. That's the khabar, and both are marfu. In this case, inna comes in front of it, so it makes it mansub. But inna does not affect the waladani, so it keeps it marfu. Waladani is marfu because we say for the muthanna, we make it marfu by adding alif and nun to it, right? Inshallah. So I just wanted to share that with you. These two, indeed, these two are girls in the hataini bintani, right? Ha'ulai and ha'ulai for both mudhakkar and muannas, okay? And these two are mabni. No matter what situation you find them in, they are mabni. These two are, not these two, these are, okay? Ha'ulai awladun, and these are boys. Ha'ulai banatun, these are girls, okay? That is for the ismul ishara al qarib, okay? It is basically understanding these words here, these words in this category where I have mudhakkar and muannas. Is understanding these words. The example should make it clearer for you, inshallah. But it's understanding hada, hadihi, hadani, hatani, hadaini, hataini, haulai, haulai. That's basically it. Okay? That's what you have to know in relation to that. So you memorize that, know those words. Hada, hadihi. Hadani, hatani, hadaini, hataini, haulai. Those are the words you have to know. The ones you have to concentrate on are a lot because they are used a lot is hada and hadihi and haulai. That is it. Right. Other than that, there is nothing else in relation to that except to understand the concept and to understand how it's being used. Now they are used a lot in the Quran. So you read the Quran, you're going to come across them a lot. You're going to see, ulaika coming so much. Yani haulai coming so much. Dhalika, tilka, tilka dar al-akhirah. You would see it coming in the Quran a lot. The more you read the Quran, the more you're going to see these words coming, so you would know exactly. All you have to do is follow it with the dictionary or follow it with the translation, and you would pick up the other words. You can pick up new words like that, inshallah. This is what you should do anyhow, because you have to get to the vocabulary. You have to find ways of developing your vocab. Okay, so we have ismul isharati lil ba'id. Ismul isharati lil ba'id. So we have for the mudhakkar mufrad is dhalika, right? Dhalika. And the muannas is, what is muannas? Tilka. And both of these they mean, no, sorry, the Arab is, they are both mabni, right? They are both mabni. And their meaning is that is. In English, you don't know the difference, but in Arabic, you know the difference. Dhalika means that is for something that is far from masculine, right? So I say that is waladun. Dhalika waladun is over there, right? That is a boy. Tilka bintun, that is a girl, right? Over there. Okay, so the example here is the same example. Dhalika waladun, that is a boy. Tilka bintun, that is a girl, right? That is clear, right? Here we have a little technicality. Dhanika, okay, that is for the muthanna. You add alif and noon to the dhal, so it becomes dhanika, and we have tanika.
Yeah, this is the first time I hear this. Danika.
And tanika. Yeah, last week we did it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I never heard for the class.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people.
Right.
You ask a lot of people who study other than that, study language at the, university level and things like that. They never heard this. Dhanika and tanika. These are moral, right? Because they're going to become dhainika and tainika. Okay, for the nasb and the jar state. This is the raf state, because the raf has a fatha. Dhanika, tanika. Okay, these are both morab, and they mean those two are. Okay, dhanika waladani. Those two are boys. Okay, and tanika bintan. Those two are girls. Okay, dhainika is a nasb or the jar state, right? And tainika is a nasb or the jar state, and they are both morab. And they have the same meaning. Those two are. Okay? Because in English, you don't know nasb and jar and these different things. It is different. So we have inna ذَيْنِكَ وَلَدَانِ. Indeed, those two are boys. Okay, those two. You have two people there, and you're pointing to them. Those two, indeed, those two are boys. And because somebody might have a long hair or something like that, you might figure they might have some. But you want to establish the fact. And then we have inna taynika bintan. Because some girls cut their hair so short, you think they are boys. So you want to really make sure that you point it out, right? Indeed, those two are girls. Then we have ulaika and ulaika. One formation for the jam', for the mudhakkar and the muannath, right? And those are mabni. Those are built like that, inshallah. Those are ulaika awladun, right? Those are boys. Ulaika banatun. Those are girls. So inshallah, I mean, we have covered back this again, and I think this is clear. As I said, the only thing you have to really concentrate on in these is to memorize the dhanika and the zainika and things like that. You learn it, but learn dhalika and tilka and learn ulaika, right? And the more you say these words, the better it is for you. You get used to them, you go in the Quran, you start to read from Surah Baqarah, you see very early ulaika is being used. Ulaika ala hudam min rabbihim wa ulaika humul muflihun, right? You'll see it in there, inshallah. Okay, so now we have the relative pronoun. It's called asma al-mawsula. Asma al-mawsula. The mudhakkar is alladhi, right? If we go back to khutbat al-haja, we see ya ayyuhan nas ittaqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. Okay, we see that, right? Alladhi. So that is the mufrad. Alladhi. Allati is the alladhi is the mufrad mudhakkar. Allati is the muannas. Okay, the muannas formation. You got that? Allati is for the muannas. Okay, right. And the i'rab is, both of these are, what is the i'rab for that? They are both mabni, right? This means who or that or which. Al-walad alladhi. So you say the walad who, right? Or the walad that. Okay? But you can say al-kalbu alladhi, the dog that, right? You don't normally say who for the dog, right? Who is normally referring to human beings, right? You can even say al-qalam alladhi ala al-maktabi. Al-qalam, the pen that is on the desk, right? So you can use it like that. But what is feminine, you use for feminine. Like al-mil'aqatu alladhi ala allati, right? Because it is feminine. Al-mil'aqatu allati ala al-maktabi. Uridu al-mil'aqata allati ala al-maktabati. I want ala al-maktabi. I want the mil'aqa that is on the desk. Okay? So I use allati because it is feminine. Okay, but they are both mabni. So you say inna alladhi fil bayt. Indeed, he who is in the house. It doesn't change, right? Alladhi remains, so it's mabni. Okay. For the muthanna, it is alladhani, alladhani and allatani, alladhani and allatani. Okay, these are moral because they change, right? You add alif and noon to it for the masculine and the feminine, right? Alladhani and allatani. You add noon to the ta. If you notice, they change it from the to ta, right? Allati. Allati, it has ta there anyhow on the allati. So you add the noon, alif and noon to it. So those two are moral, right? And they mean those two who or that or which, right? The musanna is alladhaini. The musanna for the nasb or the jar is alladhaini and allataini. Alladhaini and allataini, and they are both moral, inshallah. Okay, and those two who or which or that. Okay, so you're going to see this a lot in the Quran, like the jam, alladhina, al-uli. You're going to see alladhina mawjood in the Quran a lot.
So is it alladhina or alladhina?
Alladhina, that's for the jam.
Oh, the for the jama.
Yeah, alladhina, ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, ya ayyuha nas, ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. You see that a lot in the Quran.
Yep.
Right?
No, alladhina. I don't see.
Alladhani you don't find. Alladhaini you don't find much, right? You find it though. Allati and Allahi. These are the feminine forms, and they are mabni also, right? Allati and Allahi. Okay? And those mean the same thing. Those who, that or which. Okay? So these words, you have to just memorize them. And you're going to see them in the Quran. The more you read, you're going to get used to seeing them in the Quran, inshallah. And it's going to help you a lot to just read the Quran a lot. And if you want to speak, that's your responsibility, as I told you from before. I am not here to help you to speak. Your responsibility to speak a lot. You want to speak, you have to speak a lot. You have to say these words. You have to go at it, inshallah, and say and speak, right? Note ma and man are two additional relative pronouns that are used for all genders and numbers. So they are used for all genders, mudhakkar and muannath, and they are used for mufrad, musanna, and jama. They do not change. These do not change at all. These are mabni. So you can say man for musanna and man for jama and man for the mufrad, right? So you say ahsin ila man ahsana ilayk. Ahsin means be good. Ila man. We can say ila alladhi. You understand? Ahsin ila alladhi ahsana ilayk. Be nice and be good to the one who is nice to you, right? And to other than those who are nice to you. You should always be good to people, all right? Not only to you, but others also, right? Ahsin ila man ahsana ilayk. Be good to the one who is good to you, okay? Um,
إلى من
ila man ahsana.
إلى
Ahsana means ahsan is the verb.
better.
No, ahsan is the verb.
Asan is word,
Mhm.
but it's same thing. Asan, how you say better? Asan is good.
Ahsanu is better.
Asan
Mhm,
is better.
mhm. So you can say ahsin ila man ahsanu mink. Be good to the one who's better than you.
Right, but you can't say Asanu ilayk.
You can't say ahsanu ilayk. No. Mm. Ila man ahsana ilayk. Okay. So qara'tu ma katabt. Qara'tu ma katabt. So if you put alladhi there, right, it takes a place easily. Qara'tu alladhi katabt. I read that which you wrote, right? I read what you wrote or that which you wrote. Okay. qara'tu ma katabt. That which you.
التي كتبت
Huh?
قرأت التي كتبت
qara'tu alladhi.
That means
Alladhi.
somebody else.
If something feminine, use allati. But what I'm saying is that the ma, you want to know if it is alladhi or the man. If you want it to know it's alladhi, you put it in the sentence and you just transfer it. You replace it with alladhi or allati, and you get the meaning, inshallah. Okay. So that will teach you that aspect. So inshallah, I think our hour is finished, and I hope that we would have covered a lot of grounds here, inshallah. We just want to make sure we finish off these aspects so that inshallah we are on top of things
So,
in relation to the asma. If we can finish off with the asma in this part before Ramadan, inshallah, you revise it during Ramadan, you read your Quran, and you have a vocabulary of words that you memorize, mashallah, you're going to get a far away, inshallah. What I can do is give you words to memorize that are found in the Quran that are popular words, inshallah, so we'll see, inshallah, as we go along. Okay, so that when you read, you're reaching up words in a sentence that you might know 3 or 4 words in a sentence of 10 words, just by knowing the asma. So if you memorize them, if you memorize the popular words in the Quran, alhamdulillah, you're going to read them all the time. Like the word Allah occurs over 2,500 times in the Quran. So you're going to reach that word all the time. The word Rabb occurs over 900 times in the Quran. So you're going to read it. You're going to reach it. Like almost every page, there's Rabb mentions once or twice. And then if you know the word Alim and Hakim and these words, they always come here and there. So inshallah. So we're going to close it. Inshallah, we ask Allah to help us and guide us and strengthen us to do what is good, keep away from what is evil, help us with our understanding of this beautiful language that is the language of our Quran, the language of our religion, and make us strong so that we keep with it, so that we learn it to the end, and so that we'll be able to understand it in the end. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Barakallahu feek. So we're going to close here, inshallah.